was just a classic November Big Ten football.
There it is back. That is the new intro for the show. Welcome, everybody. Good evening to our national championship show on the Big Ten Team Rivalry Show. Mac, I don't have a script or anything. We're just flying by the seat of our pants here.
Whoa.
Wait.
We have a script normally?
Well, normally I have a script. I have something to go off of, so I know what to talk about. But actually, I do know what to talk about because we're talking about the national championship. How hard can this be?
Suck. I don't want to talk about it.
I know. And I didn't have the audience go on when the video ended. I'll have to remember that. That whole new intro is a work in progress. Did I say that was a work in progress?
No, you didn't.
It's a work in progress. Good evening, everybody. Hope you're enjoying this playoff season. I am Cliff, your host for the show tonight. With me, as always, is Mac over there on that side. We are surviving through the sub-freezing temperatures of Michigan.
And snow, all the
While
snow.
sitting on our couch in a warm, comfortable environment watching the playoff games.
It's been terrible. It's been utterly horrible.
Drinking a beer, eating some popcorn, watching football. It's good stuff.
Man, I have only had one beer this playoff season. One.
Well, and I've probably only had one beer too. I drink a lot of, not a lot. I like to drink hard cider.
Right.
I don't drink a lot of hard
wino.
cider. Yeah. Ooh, that was close.
Yeah. After the show ends tonight, Dad starts his first day of rehab.
Oh my goodness. Let's see. So we've got a bunch of the crew on the show tonight. The Big Ten Brady Bunch is back. We're not at full strength, but we do have some core guys here who know football, and they're going to tell you all about this national championship game.
We've got the B team tonight, guys.
The B team. No, we've got half of the A team. Half of the A team.
I think it's more than half. I think we're just missing Justin.
That is and Peter too.
So really,
Peter
we've got the A+ team right now. As soon as Justin joins, we're going to go down to the B team. So that's what's
drop down to B+ ish, A-, B+. We're on that the cusp, the fringe there. Anyway, we want to talk some football. We want to talk about the playoffs. We're going to do a few things tonight. We're going to talk about the playoff setup. Is the 12-team playoff working? Conference championships. We're going to talk about that. The bye weeks, we're going to talk about that. And then, of course, we're going to talk about the national championship game. We're going to break it down into groups, coaching, QBs, offense, defense, special teams. And then finally, at the end, we will give some picks as to who we think is going to win and who is going to lose. Who gets to be the 2024 national? Wait a minute. Are they the 2024 national champions or 2025?
I think 25.
It's got to be.
It's
got to be 24 because Michigan is the 23 national champions. Even though the game was in 24.
I don't know.
It's weird. It was always better when everything ended in December.
Which never ended in December.
It never ended in December. So really, I'm remembering something that never happened. Why don't we get to the show?
What in the Marvel multiverse are you talking about right now?
Do you remember that year when Michigan won the national championship by 1,000 points and they blew up Michigan State Stadium?
Our first guest tonight comes to us from Ohio State because for some reason, God only knows why, we decided to make friends with a whole bunch of Ohio State fans and pretty much exclusively have them on the channel. So
we like
everyone, welcome
Rob?
Who do you want to bring on first? Rob?
Let's bring on
Everybody
Rob.
Welcome Rob.
Rob!
Hey, Professor Rob's
What's
in the
up, you
house.
guys? What's up? What's up? What's
Oh,
up?
Good to
we're
see
doing
you
all
again.
right. Okay, Keegan says
Doing
that
good, doing
technically
good.
this year is the 24-25 national championship. Do you concur with that, Rob? Will Ohio State, if they win, will Ohio State be the 24 national champs or the 25 national champs?
Or the 24-20.
I don't know. I've seen all the Michigan gear. I see a 24 on there, so Ohio State will be 25.
Well, that's
so,
what I was thinking too. But then there's a banner
yeah.
at Michigan Stadium that says 2023 national champs.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, let's go. Let's go with Keegan. But you know what? I'm excited about this national championship game, and also I want to know where Lou Holtz is. Where is he going to be watching this game?
He said he's
at?
dragging his body down there, so he's going to be there. Keegan says, "Does anyone know when the 13-10 championship?" Shots fired from Keegan.
There's the trophy.
Oh, there is now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rob, why don't you tell everybody who you are and where they can find you?
All right, you can find my co-host Peter and I on Buckeyes Battle Cry, and I don't think I'm gonna see what happens with this TikTok ban.
Oh yeah,
but
yeah.
you know, you can find me on CFB Fanatic 13 on TikTok.
All right. Let's go to the other side of the country. Let's pick up our fellow non-playoff team.
Hey,
Ben,
we did make the playoffs.
Well, you did make the playoffs, but got blasted in the quarterfinals. The number one team.
It lasted about 8 minutes of the first quarter.
It did,
and
yeah.
then it was pretty much.
It was a glorious 8 minutes, and then nothing. How you doing, Ben? How you dealing with that? Where's the crown?
Hey, you guys may make a 13-10 championship. We have a Big 10 championship, so the crown will stay. I will not gloat about it right at this moment.
So really, we all have our championships. We're all winners.
Participation trophy. You get an award, and you get an award.
There we go. Ben, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you?
Yeah, you can find me on the Voice of College Football Oregon channel. We're in about 2 hours. We'll be doing the kind of look ahead at the 2025 roster, or exploring with Ben and Sam on YouTube, and then you can find my socials through there too.
Nice. All right. Last but not least, we have Garrison from the Ohio State channel. Garrison, how you doing?
I'm doing fine, guys. Just like you, enjoying this nice Michigan cold. It's a beautiful thing. I'm going snowboarding this weekend, so I'm happy about that.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Nice.
Yeah, hopefully, we don't have too many natty daddies. So,
natty daddies? What the heck is a natty daddy?
Natty lights. Yeah, gotta keep it cheap on the snowboard trip, bro.
Oh, I see. All right. Garrison, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you?
No, you can find me at the Scarlet and Blue Show. I gotta change my lighting here. The Scarlet and Blue Show with my co-host Bryce Sag. We're actually have an episode dropping today with Ryan Fravel, Notre Dame fan here on X. So you can see that here about an hour or so, or after this show. Please tune in. Then also you can find me at Ohio State at the Voice of College Football at Ohio State Prime Time with my co-host Ryan Stanos on Mondays and the Call-In Show on Thursdays.
Excellent. All right.
There we go.
We may have Justin joining us a little later. We will see what happens. But right now, this is our crew, and we're going to talk some national championship football. Glad to have you guys all here. We've got at least half of the national championship represented. Couldn't find anybody from Notre Dame, so we're going to get this figured out. We'll get this done. So, guys, the first thing I wanted to talk to you about is basically the whole layout of this 12-team playoff. And I've got basically 3 questions, but we might end up just sort of merging all of them into one anyway. We'll see how it goes when we get there. One of the criticisms, actually a few of the criticisms of this 12-team playoff is the same as it was last year. The 12 teams that made it in, are they the right 12 teams? Just like last year were the top 4 teams, were they the ones who should have made it in? Florida State obviously had some exception to that. We also want to talk about the conference championships. Are they still working? And the bye week. Did the bye week have any impact on how this whole national championship has been playing out, how the playoff run has been playing out? But let's I apologize. I'm going all over the place here, but let's go back to the top 4 teams. Given that the top 4 teams lost in the quarterfinals, do you guys think that is the ranking system broken, or is the ranking system working exactly the way it should? And I'm just going to throw that out to all of you. Just
the ranking system is fine. The seeding system is what sucks.
okay. Why don't you explain that?
So the final college football playoff rankings, which I probably should have pulled up before making such a statement, but the final college football playoff rankings had, what was it? Yeah. Okay. So it was Oregon, Georgia, Texas, Penn State, Notre Dame, Ohio State, Tennessee, Indiana, Boise State, SMU, Alabama, Arizona State. Obviously, what was it? Clemson won the ACC, so they'll get in over Alabama. All right, fine. Arizona State won their conference, so they'll get in. What they should have done is that the conference championship guarantees you a spot in the playoffs, but it doesn't guarantee you a top 4 spot. And I'm kind of stealing this from Josh Pate, Joel Klatt, and someone else mentioned this. I can't remember who, but I completely agree with it. I think that the conference championship gets you in, but I don't think there's a world where you can say that Arizona State actually deserved like a top 4 spot. Although they kind of made it interesting because they almost beat Texas. But yeah, so the ranking system is fine. The seeding system is what needs help.
I would say that get rid of conference championship weekend, have the that final weekend in November in the final AP poll determine the rankings for the playoff. Like the top 12 in the AP poll, they get in the playoff, and the let's even say they go to 16 teams. The top 16 in the AP poll get in the playoffs, and the top 2 get home field advantage, get rid of bowl games, get rid of conference championships, have the playoffs start that first or second weekend in December. I mean, in a way, we're already in a pro format. Players are getting paid millions of dollars. Why not take it a step further to a 16 team playoff? And again, like, and here's the other thing about the bowl games. Like, what are bowl games worth in the college football playoff now? It's just one step towards another goal. So why not have home field advantage throughout the playoffs? Like, you're going to someone else's stadium to play, and have these smaller schools be able to get in these bowl games who can build revenue for their school. I'd be on board with that.
I did actually hear, and I'm trying to remember which game I was watching that I heard this, but the bowl games, because I've thought of the same thing, that the bowl games tend to not matter. Now that we have a playoff system, it's, what does it matter if you make it to the ReliaQuest Bowl, for example? I don't know who was there, but just out of the top of my head there, the ReliaQuest Bowl, what does the game really matter? And what they've said is that the game still matters to the players because they look at it as a chance to get ready for the next year at the very least. But otherwise, I completely agree. I mean, most of those bowl games seem pointless.
I'm saying, keep the bowl games, let smaller schools, who would normally be in like the Mayo Ketchup Bowl or something, be able to play in the Rose Bowl. And the teams that get in the playoffs, let's say like Notre Dame and Oregon are the top 2 teams next season. Notre Dame and Oregon have home field advantage throughout the playoffs, and kind of like the NFL seeding, the wild card, whoever has the better record in the wild card round, they host a playoff game, kind of like what we saw the first week at the college football playoffs. But that's just a continuous thing throughout the playoff rounds. No more of this neutral field, these neutral sites.
Okay.
I lean more towards I think it's just the automatic bids were wrong. I don't believe that Boise State should have had a bye ahead of other programs or other teams, and the same for it would be Arizona State. So I think there's a problem there. I think once you get past the top 4, it's subjective, and I think we got led into a situation where I thought after the championship week, Ohio State should have been the 5th seed. I thought that the only reason Ohio State wasn't the 5th seed is because of when they lost and who they lost to at that point in time. But I don't think anyone thought at that moment in time that Ohio State still wasn't better than Texas and that at the end of the season, even with that loss to Michigan. So overall, I haven't really had any problem with it outside of that. They want to fix it. At the end of the day, outside of the Ohio State Texas game, FPI picked every single winner, and every team that was higher rated or had the higher rated defense won their game. So in all reality, we are what we're supposed to be.
We are what we're supposed to be.
Ohio State.
Oh
no! I mean, even Notre Dame. Notre Dame was.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, in every single game so far this playoff, the higher rated team has won, and the team with the higher rated defense has won. So if we're going and then on FPI, they've only picked one game wrong, and that was picking Texas over Ohio State. So if we're going by that, in all reality, we're right where we're supposed to be. Notre Dame versus Ohio State.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I know that playoffs are meant to weed out the weaker teams out of the top teams. Because obviously a lot of people have been saying that, and I don't agree with this, but people are saying like Ohio State, if they win the national championship, they're not undefeated, so it's not as big as the ones who have won undefeated. But that's not necessarily the case, because going to the NFL, there's only been one NFL team that's been undefeated that's won the Super Bowl, and that was, what did we say? That was the 1972 Miami Dolphins.
73.
73. Okay.
And here's the other thing about that statement that I don't agree with. So when the BCS era was still around and Ohio State got to the national championship, Ted Ginn Jr. and Troy Smith, and then how many losses did that 40 team have with Urban Meyer? Like 1 or 2? And they blew the doors off of Ohio State. Was that not a legitimate natty? Did they not belong there? Like that's just why I don't agree with that statement.
Well, you don't have to worry about hearing it from me, but I did get something special for Garrison. The playoff system is ranked against Oregon. Every year that Oregon is amazing, we absolutely get destroyed at some point. And Dyer was down. No, anyways. Yeah, no, I don't know what the good way to fix this is. I agree. I think the buys, I think get rid of the buys completely, because it does. When you think, like, people say, hey, they get an extra week off. Well, like, look at Ohio State. They didn't play in the championship game. Oregon did. Really, you got about the same amount of time off anyways.
No, you did.
Ohio State got to kind of warm up with the Tennessee game. Now, I'm not saying that we're not using Russ as an excuse, but when you go back to previous years of playing like the Rose Bowl, those two teams generally were off the same amount of time and didn't play a game like a Tennessee game. And then, why do not the top teams then have the home and field advantage?
I do believe you guys should have had one, but I think that has more to do with money.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And that's the bowl. That's the bowl tie-in thing. That's the whole problem with it, because when the seeding was initially agreed upon, it was all the conference commissioners, including the Pac-12 and Notre Dame, because they're freaking special. Well, the Pac-12 doesn't exist anymore. So that actually threw the system kind of out of whack a little bit, not having that fifth conference. I think that's kind of what threw it all out of the loop, where you got Boise State, for instance, instead of another Power 5 conference champion.
I think the Group of 5 should have their own tournament.
There should be relegation.
I wouldn't be mad at that if they did that. Like in terms of like P4 and P5, I wouldn't be mad at that at all. I just, in the beginning of this playoff, and maybe it's just people want to hate on James Franklin and Penn State, but we had people out here talking about Boise State beating Penn State, and I'm wondering to myself, how crazy are you people? I just, they don't belong. They don't.
Penn State or?
Yep.
No, Boise State didn't belong.
Boise State. No. Yeah. No. But okay, but that's where I'm like, okay, they won their conference. Reward them. Sure, give them a spot. But that's all. Just give them the spot. Don't give them the top spot, because there's no world where Boise State's resume, you can look at that and say, okay, Boise State is definitely a top 4 team. We should give them a bye week. No, if they're really that good, let them earn it. But they did nothing through the regular season except for Ashton Genty being a revelation at the running back position. They did nothing else to suggest that they deserve a 1 through 4 spot. But the problem is that the at that point, the regular season is so subjective. And then you're just kind of taking this whole like strength of record resume type thing, and you have to compare them against different teams. Who's got the better record? Well, I don't know, probably the team with the most ranked wins has the better record. But at that point, are those ranked wins just ranked wins because they were ranked at the time? Are those teams still ranked? Did we overrank them? Everything is subjective. That's why I think they need to incorporate relegation, and then they need to just have the power 4 turn into the NFC and AFC of the NFL.
Yeah, how about we get rid of resumes and we just go by a pro system where resumes don't matter. It's going to be where your record is at the end of the year, or just like the NFL, at a certain point of the season, you get eliminated from the playoffs. And a certain point of the season, you clinch a top seed.
Well, they have to redo this in a couple of years. I know they're gonna try to expand it because the SEC bitch and complain. The SEC strength of record that went out the window in the postseason, didn't it? Absolutely went down the drain. Yeah. So and here we go next year. Let's see how many are in the top 10, because I've seen about 5 already. I'm like, okay, come on, guys, you all lost your bowl games. Shut the hell up.
Hey, Cliff, I knew you gotta get to the super chat.
Yes. Keegan there. Thank you very much, Keegan, for the super chat. Really appreciate it. Go ahead, Garrison.
No, I was going to say this. This is why I don't believe, all right, this is the one reason why you can't get rid of the conference championship games, and you can't treat it too far like the NFL. Across the NFL, these teams are all pretty equal. The only difference is usually the coaching and the quarterback. More times than not. The NFL teams are equal in talent. And this is why it sucks, but you have to have it. You said like the subjective part about the conference schedules and strength of schedule and strength of record. We do need those because, for instance, you can't take Ohio State's schedule and take Indiana's schedule and then say those are equal schedules. Let's say in a crazy world, Indiana did finish 11-1. Well, they did finish 11-1 this season. Let's say something weeded out where you have them tied with Oregon for the Big Ten or Oregon went 11-1. That wasn't the same schedule being played. Not even close. So I think that's the only part that's tough about that. We got rid of big conference championships. And I love football. I want more.
Well, this is the problem with the strength of schedule, though, in the sense of it, and understood exactly what you mean. He's like, you have these preseason rankings, so you have all the SEC teams up there, right? They'll lose. Let's look at Missouri. Now, Missouri, they won their bowl game, I believe, if I recall correctly. They did, but how many times did they drop out of the top 25 after getting shut out?
Like 3 or 4 times,
and then they kept jumping back in. Granted, who else are you going to put there? But that just gave these other teams a boost of man, look how good they are. That's the whole problem kind of when you look at it, because the SEC has always gotten this boost of strength of schedule. And this year, it was pretty abysmal. Shout out Bielema. Thank you for mocking humor.
Yeah.
That was beautiful.
But yeah, that's why I think you're exactly right, Garrison. Like what Mac was saying too about it being subjective. You've got 134 teams. If Western Michigan has an undefeated season, are they really on the level of if they were to play Ohio State? What would happen?
I'm pushing crazy narratives if that happens. I'm West Michigan born and raised. I'm calling that.
Well, sure, but even so if Western Michigan goes undefeated in the MAC, and then they end up playing Ohio State in the playoffs, they're going to get destroyed.
I'm biased. I don't know that.
Excuse you?
I mean, unless something crazy happens, because you're talking about, a MAC team is not on the level of a Big Ten team, more than likely, except that NIU beat Notre Dame this year. But
no, okay, here's the thing. Western Michigan, it's Kalamazoo. They're going to bring the guns. They're going to bring the drugs. Okay. They'll figure it out. They'll go like all, what the Nazis did with the meth and the Blitzkrieg thing. Watch out. It's going to be the Blitzkrieg Broncos is what's going to happen on that field. That's what I'm talking about.
I'm telling you, Kalamazoo, man, that's top 10 college football atmosphere. I don't care what anyone says.
It is, yeah. Oh, it's a great atmosphere. And I like Kalamazoo. Just don't go down. Oh, what's that one street? Well, actually, there's a whole bunch of streets.
There's a few of them, yeah.
What do you mean?
All right, wait a minute. Take Keegan's comment a different way. And I know Keegan is he's making a joke. He's having fun.
Yeah.
But is it part of the conversation 5 years from now, if Ohio State has won the national championship, 5 years from now, you're talking about it. Does the fact that you lost to your biggest rival and lost the Big Ten come into the conversation? Let me make a case for it. I think it can.
A natty's a natty.
I know. And this is why I think it can, because you can say, in fact, I think, Rob, you said this in your video, or at least alluded to it, that if you win the national championship, don't make it to the Big Ten championship and lose to your biggest rival, you can say that was a season where your team overcame some massive challenges, which I think would make the natty that much more important to your fan base and to your team.
This is why the whole thing needs to be restructured, and they need to introduce relegation and then 2 super conferences. Because in what world you literally cannot get to the Super Bowl without winning your conference? So why is Ohio State allowed to go to the national championship without winning their conference? Because they're
wait a minute.
Great.
No, that's not true.
Wait a minute, dude.
You can.
There's only 2 conference championships in the NFL.
You can get a wild card spot.
That's exactly the point. No, Dad. What I'm saying, no, you have to win the NFC championship game or the AFC championship game. But the reason Ohio State is in the playoffs is because everyone knows they're the best team in the country right now. They lost at the wrong time. Now that the problem with that though is that means that the regular season doesn't mean as much as it used to, because they can lose to 6-5 Michigan and still be allowed to play for a natty. That's a whole nother issue. But we all still know that on paper, Ohio State is the best team in the nation. Okay, that's why they're allowed to play for the national championship. And that's why I think they should restructure this whole thing so that, the regular season, if you lose a game or 2, all right, that's cool. Like it happens in the pros. Because if we're going to play the same number of games as the pros, you should be allowed the same benefits as the pros, which is lose a game or 2, get the benefit of the doubt, make the playoffs, and in the playoffs, go to the championship game for your conference, win your conference. That gets you to the national title game. It's not rocket surgery.
What? That's what you did there. Hey, you almost got me.
Yeah, we did lose at the right time.
Did.
I mean, remember, I remember in one of my videos, I said that Ohio State would have to suffer heartbreaking loss. I thought that was going to be Oregon, but little did I know it was going to be Michigan for the 4th time in a row. And then, Ryan Day is on a freaking warpath to just destroy every team in Ohio State's path. So.
Well, that's what I absolutely do not understand about the current setup, because for the top 4 teams that ostensibly, if this was last year, those top 4 teams would be playing for the national championship. For the top 4 teams to all get beat by 2 scores, except for Arizona State, but they still lost, that just doesn't make sense to me. Something is broken about this system.
Well, I can personally tell you, I'm not too surprised that we beat Oregon by more than 2 scores. I'm not overly surprised by that. I think I'm hoping, Keegan, I'm answering this correctly. I'm guessing you're asking if do we believe this is going to ask because we lost to Michigan, as the rest of the guys said. No, and I'll be quite frank with you. I don't give a damn about any loss if we win the national championship. I don't care. It sucks. We lost to Oregon this year by 1 in Oregon at nighttime. Yeah, we lost for a 4th year in a row. I'll tell you what. Does it suck? Yeah. Do I care if we win the natty? No. Everyone's gonna say 13-10 to me. I'm gonna show my ass. Won't care. I'm very consistent with this. And plus, let me be very honest. Last year, I said if Ryan Day wins a natty, I won't care about the rest of the last few years. I won't care, because it's a point of conversation that should still be had. I'm not going to poo-poo the rivalry like that. I will never do that. But I've said the ultimate is the ultimate.
Mhm.
And if at the end of the year I can stand up and say my team is the best team in college football, we did it. This is the hardest path to a national championship in playoff history. Now it's a short span for the playoffs that we've had, but there hasn't been a harder road than this. And even if you throw in Notre Dame, their road wasn't harder than ours either. So it's just what. Oh man, you guys have no idea how many narratives. I'm talking Mussolini propaganda style. Like I'm talking like
We just keep going back to World War II here.
yeah,
for
I
some
know.
reason.
Like the things. My Ryan Day manifesto is going to be beautiful. The way and maybe Rob is different from me on here. In my hierarchy of Ohio State quarterbacks, boy, Will Howard, you are about to shoot up the rankings. Yeah, and not in terms of like him being a better quarterback. I mean, just in Ohio State lore.
Yeah. I mean, on my Mount Rushmore of Michigan quarterbacks, I've got Tom Brady, J.J. McCarthy, Chad Henne, and Davis Warren.
You know who Will Howard reminds me of? He reminds me a lot of JT Barrett. Just has that dog in him, a natural leader, just tough as nails, just playing for his team and knowing how to get it done.
He's just better than JT.
But yeah, I think
Will
that
Howard's
the
better
whole
than JJ McCarthy.
No,
JT.
Okay, good.
I think the
was gonna
whole
say,
Will.
dude, you need rehab. If that's what you think.
I think the whole Will Howard versus Kyle McCord discussion's over. It's done. I don't want to hear any talk about that anymore.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Rob,
fair enough.
Rob, let's not end it there, Rob. Let's not end it at Cal McCord. Avery
Alex
Johnson.
Orgy was the comparison as well.
Alex Orgy, Davis Warren. I said Avery Johnson out of Kansas State over there throwing the ball to toothpicks and thumbtacks and lit out of their pockets.
Man, I hope nobody stepped on him.
Who else is better than? Oh yeah, I'm sorry, Dylan Gabriel. Throw that out the window. That's the best quarterback in the Big Ten on Will Howard.
You could argue. I can argue this that one, you guys just have amazing receivers because there was some defense in that game that was not bad. The pass was good, perfect. Even when it was tipped, the receiver still caught it. I mean, it was like undefended. So I don't know. I'm not going to go that. I'm not going to go that far. The talent around Will Howard, when you have talent around you, you also can look better.
I had Oregon fans telling me.
I'm not going to say
receiver unit. Well, I'm not saying you, buddy, but I had a lot of Oregon fans telling me that their wide receiver unit was better than ours.
He's not saying you said it. He's just gonna take it out on you like you did.
No. You're gonna get some blunt in the brain.
And that's fair. Hey, that game wouldn't have gone any differently, in all honesty. But Evan Stewart was out, and Franklin kept coming in, or Johnson rather. So I keep calling him Franklin.
I promise you, I was gonna change anything from happening.
Will Howard has had a 95 and up QBR since in the playoffs. That's phenomenal. That's all I'm gonna say. In terms of the 13-10 flex, it's weak, and here's why it's weak. There's big seeing where the playoff is going. We're heading to a pro format, so Cleveland and Pittsburgh are big rivals. How do I know that? My wife's a Pittsburgh fan. She said she was born and raised to hate every single team in Ohio. This season, Cleveland beat Pittsburgh in the regular season. Are they bragging about that? No. They're pissed that they're at home and Pittsburgh's in the playoffs. Even though it was a short run, they're not bragging about the regular season win. To me, and I even made a video about this ever since it became the 12-team playoff. The significance of the game is finally reduced. Doesn't mean in terms of rivalry, it's big, but I mean, come on, Garrett.
You guys, hang on. Okay, you lost.
Fine, we can
to
disagree
6-5
with that.
Michigan, and yet you're in the national championship.
No.
Tell me the game isn't reduced in meaning.
No. You can. You can be 12-0 or 0-11 and 11-0. I don't care. I don't care. Well, I don't think this is. I've stated this since probably March, way before the season. At no point when Ohio State and Michigan play will there not be something to lose. When you play,
I'm not saying that, Garrison. I'm just saying that there's not as much to lose.
There's everything. Okay, there's everything to lose.
There's not as much, Garrison. Are we? Did we get sent home and not in the playoffs? Did we not get? Are we out of the playoffs? Aren't we playing for a national championship?
If when Ohio State and Michigan play for the first time, no matter what season, unless something changes, they will be playing at the end of the season in week 12 or week 13. That's the game. It will always be the game. Now, let's just say we skip forward to the next week. What's after that? It's the Big Ten championship. That's something to lose. Now let's just fast forward after that again. They face off in the playoffs. God forbid they face up in the national championship. There's always something to lose. I don't like. Maybe that's fine.
Yeah, if it gets there, but these regular season like losses that used to have so much, these regular season games used to have so much emphasis. Because look, the last 3 years, from 2021 to 2023, the Big Ten championship was on the line. The playoffs were on the line. Ohio State lost. They were sitting home for the Big Ten championship and the playoffs.
Michigan was dirt. And Ohio State was still going for national championships. It didn't matter if we beat them or not back then. That didn't diminish the game. There was a time when I not kid you guys. Everyone, I'm telling you the truth. There was a time in my life where I looked at Michigan State as a rival more than I did Michigan because Michigan didn't stand in our way of anything. They didn't. So if the game didn't matter, if the game still mattered then, when Michigan was, when the football gods sent them to football purgatory, it matters now. Then it matters now for me.
It was hell.
It was right past purgatory, straight into hell. Yeah.
I mean, look. The game is the game, but is there a lot on the line?
I think the difference is it's the game will always be an old-fashioned regional rivalry. So it's always going to be something between Michigan and Ohio State. It may not mean something on the national level,
definitely,
but it'll always be an old-fashioned regional rivalry.
That's what I'm saying. Okay, that's what I'm saying.
So here's the thing, though: it's the most watched rivalry. Like no matter what.
Yeah.
Like everybody watches that game. It doesn't matter where you are. The thing is, I think emotionally to us, like to Michigan fans and to Ohio State fans, especially ones as passionate as us, the game is always going to mean something until it finally happens where Michigan and Ohio State play the final game of the season. And then they play again the next week in the Big Ten championship. And then somehow or another figure out a way to play in the playoffs as well. Like as soon as that happens, and frankly, I think like even as soon as they meet in the Big Ten championship, I think that right there is when you finally say, okay, yeah, the game kind of doesn't mean as much as it used to, because it used to mean that whoever won that game won the Big Ten. And then it meant that whoever won that game
got a chance. That for 3 years. Wait, see that? Wait, what are we doing?
No. I'm going back to like the 60s, 70s, and 80s, dude. Like it for the longest time, for decades, whoever won the game won the Big Ten.
That's
whoever won the game went to the Rose
Bowl. The Big Two, and the Little Eight. That
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Trash. That's why it ain't the same anymore. Again, when we play you guys in week 13, the next week there's a trophy on the line.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. I'm coming from this. From like it's like I still, even though I'm a fan, I still try to use my player mindset. I don't care whenever we're playing you guys, because the truth of the matter is this: if you guys beat us that following week, is that going to stop me from feeling horrible? Nope.
Like if you won
if we won the game,
if you won the game and then Michigan won in the Big Ten championship,
I'm gonna be sick to my stomach.
Yeah,
because at the end of the day, for me, like I want to, like I don't care like what week it is. I don't care how many times. If that was the case, man, then why do we have like in the NFL rivalry like this? The Ravens play twice a year. The Jets and the Patriots play twice a year. The Cowboys and the Redskins screw it. The Redskins play twice a year. I don't.
It would be like a good old NFL rivalry, dude. That's it.
I'm going with that.
Yeah.
So
I want to take
so
belt
be it.
ass every single time. I don't.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying like the zing to this game has gone is ever since the playoff expansion, which is brand new, and it's gone down a bit.
mean, I will say as an outsider, as the outsider here, it is, but it still has it depends on the season, of course, like you would say, because now there's no divisions and stuff, so it's just top two teams. So depending on the year and how each team does, like for instance, this year it did do something though, because Michigan knocked Ohio State out of the Big Ten title race, so it was like a double whammy. Whereas, yes, in another year, if you guys are like equal record, it might not. Then you might have to meet the next week, so it might not mean as much or whatever. But so it still can have like serious implications for the conference.
Somebody's got to like sacrifice their season for that to be the case. Which fine, like if you had come to me before the season and said, "Look, here's the deal: Michigan's going to go 8-5, but you're going to beat Ohio State and Alabama," I'm going to be like, yeah, let's have a little bit of chaos. That sounds great. Let's go full Joker on the season.
Well, until also on the caveat, like you knock them out of the Big Ten title race, but then Ohio State's going to win the national title potentially. You'd be like, that's not a good trade-off.
It's not.
I don't care.
Shit.
Oh. Well, this season I wouldn't care. This season I wouldn't care because we won it last season. I don't care. Win your natty, dude. You guys have a generational team. Oh God, I said it. You guys have a great team. Like, it just win the natty. Have fun. It's great. Oh, bye, Doreen. Thank you for hanging out. But you guys have it. Look, I can personally say, winning a national championship is a lot of fun. I hope you get to experience it one day.
I have.
I think he's talking.
I guess I'm talking to me. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. Someday in the future.
And here's the other thing. Here's the other thing I don't understand. Here's the thing I don't understand. We're all going around saying SEC's weak, Big Ten everything, but yet you guys don't like. Do you guys don't want Ohio State to win the national championship, right?
Is it my preference? No, but
I'm undecided.
But in turn. It would be good. So here's the thing: it would be good for the Big Ten to get a second national title in a row, because that's never happened, and then we could really rub it in the SEC conference. Because here's the thing, you guys: when I think it was New Year's Eve, and Michigan, Alabama played, Iowa and Missouri played, South Carolina, Illinois, then Penn State, Boise State. I didn't have my Ohio State gear on. I had a Big Ten T-shirt on. Because at the end of the day, when it gets in the bowl season, that's who I'm for. Because at that point, we're representing the conference.
I'll be very frank with you. Everyone else in the conference, please get your win. And I've said before, if a whole collapsed the whole city of Ann Arbor into the depths of the earth.
I'm the same way. It's the same now already as it was with the Pac-12. I always root for the other Pac-12 teams outside of USC and Washington. So they can.
No, if.
But I'm
nice self-censorship there.
So I'm rooting for it just in the sense of conference, exactly, because like you saw the SEC just totally get demolished in the playoffs and bowl season in general, and I think it is. You're 100% correct over there. Is like, hey. Two natties in a row. That's what the SEC prides themselves on, right?
Mm-hmm.
So next season, if that happens, next season, everyone everywhere just needs to start shouting, Big Ten, Big Ten.
No,
just rip the SEC, just rip them on that dumb.
Do you guys know who the last on the Big Ten, or who the last Big Ten team was to win? If it was back-to-back championships, when the last time it was?
Let me guess. Ohio State?
No, I forgot the years. It was a while ago. Michigan State went back-to-back.
Ew. All right. Well, that must have been the 50s.
Oh yeah, that was a while.
Oh, 64, 65, I think.
that was a while. Back.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So modern era.
Well, here's the thing. Since 2000, the Big Ten has only won the national championship 3 times. That's
Yep.
it. This is the time to really like rub it in.
Yeah. Now that paying players is legal, the talent is even.
I think what SEC fans are realizing is that yes, we do. Like these northern programs do have more money than you.
Yeah.
Unless
everyone
you were Nick
thought-
Saban and had a car dealerships, you know.
Yep.
Oh, there you go.
Rob, you wanted me to leave this comment up. Did you have something else you wanted to say about that?
Yeah, a 2-loss team winning the Natty just feels weird. It feels weird because it's so fresh. It's brand new, But once like time goes on, it will become the norm.
Yeah.
It will, especially if like it goes to a 14, 16 playoff team. We could be seeing a 3-4 loss team.
Yeah,
win.
you're also seeing. Well, you're also
You
seeing
said four. You said
play
four
the
loss?
most games they have.
If it gets to 16 teams, why not?
I don't know if
3
I've ever seen
loss,
a 4-loss
4
team in the top
loss.
16 in the country.
Clemson's 10-3.
Yeah. But, yeah.
All right, fine. 3 loss. We'll cap it at 3. Maybe
All right.
maybe a
Ole
4.
Miss
Ben-
is nice.
Maybe.
Ben, what did you say?
No, I was saying also the team that wins it, so like a 3-loss, say, which has happened before, but LSU. It's also now it's the most games played. Before it was 15-0. 15 games. Now it's 16.
Yeah.
So the likelihood that also that you're going to see a 16-0 team is just it's possible, but it's getting
It's tough.
a little bit
It's gonna get
unlikely.
harder
And
and
even then, they don't have to do if they keep the buys, then they technically don't have to play that.
Mhm.
Do they? That would work. No, the conference championship, I guess. So yeah, it would still be 16.
Right.
By the way,
Yeah.
if,
With
Ohio
NIL,
State-
leveling the playing field.
Oh, by the way, if Ohio State wins this, like mind you, Ohio State was the first program to be the first AP, BCS, and CFP champion in 14. If they do this, we will then be the only program to win an AP, BCS, 14, and 12 team.
Oregon. Why do you keep bringing up pain and misery for me? Oregon also is the first men's national championship in basketball. 1932. Played like 5 games.
1932.
Yeah.
You were around for that one, weren't you, Ben?
Celebrate it. Hold on to it like all these other programs that talk about their natties from like 100 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
I don't have to. Wait. No, we didn't. That's basketball. Never mind. We got to the championship game in 2013 and lost to a bunch of guys who paid for strippers. So, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
that's
All right. So Keegan's asking, should the NCAA be under investigation for favoritism and negligence for allowing teams to pay players in an unfair way?
Yes.
So
I'm
this
sick and
pre-NIL.
tired of it.
But that
What?
should they go back and retroactively punish these teams, given that that's all legal now?
They knew it was happening.
Yeah, no, you can't. You
Sure.
can't do that. I mean,
They got,
I would-
they got us.
If anything, the DOJ needs to investigate the NCAA for taking
The
under the table bribes and stuff like that from the SEC.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll actually do their
Yeah,
jobs
maybe.
this
and
time
Connor
around.
Stallions.
Yeah.
Get a real
Yeah.
investigative body involved.
Yeah,
Let's go.
Yeah.
You got some Marine out here doing illegal stuff like that. I think they should look into
Oh,
that,
man. Living out
Oh,
of his
sure.
car and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Selling lawnmowers.
That poor high school area that he's coaching in now. Man, those other coaches are like looking around every game, like just making sure no one's recording.
What's going on? Well, and I mean, we got a lot of players now coming back and suing their teams and suing the NCAA for pay that they feel that they should have had. But
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've seen that.
That's so
Yeah.
dumb.
all right, guys, why don't we get into the actual game itself? And I wanted to break this down. I think I told all you guys we're going to try to break this down into groups. We're going to go over the coach, the QB, the offense, the defense, and the special teams, and then finally pick a winner. And we might as well start at the top. Let's talk about coaches. So we've got Ryan Day going up against Marcus Freeman, and this I looked this up. This is just some fun stats here. So Ryan Day is in his 6th year. Marcus Freeman is in his 3rd. Ryan Day is 69-10. Marcus Freeman is 33-9. Ryan Day is 45 years old. Marcus Freeman is 39 years old. Here's a good one. Ryan Day is 4-3 in the CFP, but Marcus Freeman is 3-0. Ryan Day actually played college ball. Well, they both played college ball. Ryan Day played for New Hampshire, and Marcus Freeman played for Ohio State. Ryan Day started coaching right after college. He's actually been coaching since 2002. He started out as a tight ends coach in New Hampshire. Marcus Freeman, this is bizarre to me. I don't know how this would work, but apparently Marcus Freeman found a way to do it. He played for 3 NFL teams in 1 year for the 1 year that he played in the NFL. He played for the Bears, the Bills, and the Texans in 2009.
So he sucked so much he kept getting traded.
Just kept getting traded every couple of weeks. They're like, get rid of him.
Take this guy.
But he has now been coaching since 2010.
You're the private chat, just laugh to yourselves.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Okay, I know, but yeah. So they're trying to obviously bring race into it with Marcus Freeman, but Marcus Freeman was cool though. He talked about he wants this for everybody, so that was pretty cool. But yeah, it's fun.
They're also like getting mad at him for like quote unquote changing his religion just so he could be the coach at Notre Dame.
At Notre Dame?
I don't think he actually changed his religion. I think he was always at least Christian and just decided to like get baptized as a Catholic or something. And also, why does it matter?
Did you guys ever watch Vikings? The show?
No.
I've seen like half an episode. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, Rolo was Viking, and to be he's a real person actually, but to be the king of Francia, he turned Catholic. So hey.
Oh, all right. Well, hey, whatever. Got to do what you got to do, I guess.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind being a king.
So looking at the coaches,
Garrison. I'd gladly be your royal jester.
Are you done?
No.
Well, he gave you the point.
Yeah, I was like, "What are you pointing at?" Even like, you're just
you can't just point at the screen.
There.
We all take your point.
All right, looking at the coaches, Ryan Day or Marcus Freeman, who has the edge? Who's the better coach, Day or Freeman?
Day.
That's a.
And I stand by this. At some point, just like anything else that we sit like for players or that are whether they play soccer, baseball, whatever, what have you accomplished? Yes, Ohio State has a lot of talent. We all know that, but you're in a position you're in for a reason. So I think it's without a doubt Ryan Day. He's on his 2nd national championship appearance. Well, I think he's now 500 in the playoffs. He's over 500 against top 10 teams, and quite frankly, he is 2-0 against Marcus Freeman. And knows to put more than 10 players on the team on the field at one time.
That's right. Freeman can't count to 11. I think he figured that out. But yeah,
he's been taking.
No, he has that special advisor behind him right now on the sideline that like grabs him and like taps him on the shoulder, be like, "Yo, time.
You need
Think about
11.
this." And
one more.
I'm gonna take Ryan Day. I mean, this path to the national championship game was the hardest in the playoffs. Tennessee, Oregon, who was number 1, and then Texas. And that was a really good Texas team. Elite defense, a lot of speed on offense. And like other than that, like, yeah, Ryan Day is 2-0 against Marcus Freeman. And if you look at the win last season, we have a better quarterback. We have like 3 of those guys on that last drive are gone. No Chip Trainum, no Kyle McCord, and no Julian Fleming. Those guys are gone. Better players have been inserted. So, yeah.
Ben, what do you think?
Still lost to
Michigan. As an overall, yes, Ryan Day is a better coach. If you look at this season in general, I still, in a way, have to take Ryan Day. I cannot forgive the NIU loss, but the way that he's rounded, got that team together and the coaching staff is extremely impressive. But in the overall, I do have to agree that it would be Ryan Day, obviously, as a better coach.
Yeah. Mac, what do you think?
I think this season, Marcus Freeman has done more with less, but I think Ryan Day overall is still the better coach. Well, because,
Garrison was about to have a fit.
Goodness gracious. Give me a chance to explain myself, buddy. Like,
Mac, you know I love you. You know I love you.
All right.
I'm not kidding. Just an hour ago, I told Bryce and Ryan, if you, we had this conversation. I said, and if you say because he's doing more with less, I'm done. I'm done. I just because at what point, like, is it my fault that I'm the salesman at a big Forbes 500 company, and someone else is the salesman at, let's say, a Chick-fil-A? No, and he's probably a really good salesman at Chick-fil-A. That doesn't mean he's better than me as a salesman over at the bigger company.
Does Chick-fil-A have salesmen?
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
Just trying to make a point here, man. Go
ahead,
except on Sundays.
It just
Sundays,
that always grinds my gears. But continue, Mac.
God's got to bless the chicken, man. I don't know if that's blasphemous, but it's funny, so we'll go with it. No, but seriously, okay. But let me explain myself since you're not talking. Mark, the only reason I would say that Marcus Freeman did more with less is because he didn't recruit nearly as well as Ohio State did this offseason. Okay, and just by nature of the way that their season was set up, they accomplished more during the regular season than Ohio State did, and I think that they made it further in the playoffs than a lot of people thought they were going to. Whereas everybody was like, Ohio State was probably always going to make the national championship. So actually, maybe a better way to put it is Marcus Freeman has exceeded expectations. Ryan Day has met expectations, but but we'll just go with it. Ryan Day has met expectations, but actually the expectations for Notre Dame were lower than they were for Ohio State. So it's not even really kind of saying that much. But that's why I would say, like, compared to relative to where the expectations were, Marcus Freeman exceeded them more than Ryan Day exceeded his expectations. Although his expectations, I think he actually kind of has not met just yet. And he'll meet them if he wins the Natty, but he lost to Michigan. He didn't win the Big Ten. So those are kind of two fairly major strikes.
I guess I would ask, what were your expectations for Notre Dame before the season? Before the season, I thought Notre Dame was going to be really good. Mm-hmm. I thought they were going to go 12-0, and because you say you did more or less, but let's go through this real quick.
All right, hit me.
Texas A&M, Northern Illinois, Purdue, Miami of Ohio, Louisville, Stanford, Georgia Tech, Navy, Florida State. Good grief, Florida State. Virginia, Army, USC.
Yeah.
Every single one of those teams I just named are at least 14-point dogs to Ohio State.
That's fair. And I'm not actually sure that any of them were even ranked when Notre Dame played them, or even
Louisville was
not high. I think weren't they in the teens?
Louisville was
Georgia Tech might have been.
Texas A&M was, Navy was. Like, the teams were ranked when they played.
But here's the thing: looking at where those teams are now, though, because like Texas A&M had another pretty disappointing season, Louisville had another pretty disappointing season. So like coming into the season, I had no expectations for Notre Dame because I simply didn't know. I don't know what to expect from them. I don't follow them, so I don't know what they're going to do. But I can tell you, after they lost to NIU, I was like, frauds. They're frauds. You can't lose to NIU and go win the Natty. And now they have a shot at doing
it. Oh yeah, you can.
Well, okay,
No,
but at the time I was like, there's no way because NIU's not. I mean,
that's NIU is Ohio State is Notre Dame's Michigan.
and NIU's not a bad. I think everyone should go check out that NIU team this year.
yeah, well, I mean, they're not bad, and they're never truly horrible in the MAC either. Like they're constantly in the running for MAC championships. I mean, they can shock a good team, but like generally that good team then turns out to not be that good.
I remind everybody in 2014, Ohio State lost to a 7-5 Virginia Tech team.
Well, in 2024, Ohio State lost to a 6-5 Michigan team and is now very much likely going to win the MAC.
And that's why I believe. I think for some of these teams, I think it's easy for people to hate on Notre Dame, and so maybe, like I said, our expectations were different for Notre Dame. You said you didn't have any. Like I said, I thought they were going to go 12-0 this season, but when we talk about the talent, I think we would all agree that Notre Dame has top 10 to top 15 talent in college football of 134 teams.
Mm-hmm.
It's not beyond the pale that they could have gone out and won a national championship.
Yeah, that's fair. But I think, again, just kind of going based off of what were the expectations for Ohio State and what were the national expectations for Notre Dame. The national expectations for Notre Dame were, yeah, they'd probably make the playoffs. I don't know if they're going to make it very far because at the time, we all thought Georgia was going to be really good too. I think a lot of people thought Georgia was probably going to be the favorite for the national title early on in the season.
So
either them or Ohio State.
Your expectations changed then for teams?
Yeah, over time, yeah.
Did they change for Ohio State at all?
They changed from Michigan.
Yeah, I don't think the expectation changed for Ohio State, but yeah, in fairness, I mean, everyone said FSU was number 10 in the country.
Start of the playoffs,
yeah.
Start of the playoffs, I had Ohio State losing to Oregon.
I guess so I can only speak for myself then. At the beginning of the season, I did have expectations. I kind of thought that Michigan was going to be better than they were. I thought that Ohio State had a shot at losing actually 2 games in the regular season, which they actually ended up doing. It's just they weren't the 2 games I thought they were going to be, but whatever. But I'm also someone who, quite frankly, I don't care. And that's kind of the beautiful thing about being me is that I don't care. Really. I love watching football. I love Michigan. I love when Michigan does well, but I lived through the Rich Rod. I grew up during the Rich Rod and the Hoke era. Like if Michigan goes 7-5 and somehow randomly gets a win over Ohio State during that whole stretch, I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm a simple guy.
Here's the awesome part about being me. Oh, that's funny. You gotta put that up, Cliff.
But here's the thing. At Notre Dame, eventually, when Brian Kelly got things going, the expectation was to, make the college football playoff and win the national championship. That's why they pay all this money, brought in Brian Kelly. And, when he almost got him there, he's like, okay, peace out. I'm going to LSU. I think I have an actual chance at winning Natty there. So it's just because he left doesn't mean the expectation changed just because Marcus Freeman is there. The expectation at Notre Dame is to get back to the glory days and, win a national championship.
All right. I need you guys' help here. What the heck is a Kentucky mud flap?
I don't want to know.
This.
I don't want to know.
Oh.
All
right.
It sounds crazy to me. The Kentucky mud flap fly.
It's just my hair. Remember, Justin mentioned that on the stream at one point. He said that I had a Kentucky mud flap going on. I'm like, what is that?
All right. Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're calling Ryan Day as the coach with the advantage. Let's move on to quarterbacks.
Holy crap. We were talking about that whole time.
Yes. You are milking the hell out of every moment you can on these topics. I love it.
No, I'm not gonna lie to you. Before we jumped on here, I said to myself quietly, dude, I hope we just talk about whatever, man. I haven't been here for a while. So I was like,
that's kind of what happened.
That's fine. Chat it up. We've got on the quarterbacks, we've got Will Howard and we've got Riley Leonard. So Will Howard on the Ohio State side currently has a QBR of 87.6, but that's for this season. Rob, I think you said he has is it 95 for the playoffs?
95 and above, somewhere
95.
between 95 and 98. It's off the
All right.
charts.
And then
man.
Riley Leonard is 77.7 QBR for the season. I did not see any report on whether or not Riley Leonard okay. Riley Leonard was out of the game last game, right?
He came out for a little bit, and then what's that backup quarterback's name again?
I was trying to remember who the backup was.
Yeah, he came in and lighted up.
Yeah.
Angeli.
All right.
Yeah.
But it looks like, I guess, Riley Leonard should be playing for the national championship game. So what do you guys think? Who has the edge, Will Howard or Riley Leonard?
Leonard's got like 14, 15 rushing touchdowns on the season, man.
Yeah.
Like dual threat. He's dangerous with his feet.
That's where I was going to say, if you want to talk about differences in the quarterback, and that's where the difference is. Ohio State has way better receivers than Notre Dame. That's simple and clear. But Riley Leonard is a huge difference maker when it comes to running the ball. Will Howard hasn't had to do it necessarily that much. He's done it. Obviously, he's kind of a dual threat. He's quick. He's capable. But Riley Leonard, that's part of his game. So it's kind of a nice mixture. But, I mean, if you're going to go with a quarterback, I mean, I'm sorry. I'm going to take Will Howard over Riley Leonard. I'm sorry. I'm going to.
Yeah, Will Howard is getting all-day protection. It seems like he gets to sit back there for a couple of minutes before he has to make a decision.
People forget when he played Texas the year, 2 years ago, and he actually weighed 10 more pounds during this. He ran for a 75-yard touchdown against them. So it's not like Will doesn't have the run. He can't run. We just don't need him to. I actually think in this game you're going to see it a little bit more. But I'm right with Ben. I don't think it's a close conversation. It's Will Howard. I think Riley Leonard fits what Notre Dame wants to do and needs to do perfectly. I mean, he would also be great for Georgia Tech, but they run about the same thing as Notre Dame does. But you're talking about Will Howard, who coming into this season, he's around 59 to 60% completion percentage. If you told me he was going to – I thought he was going to throw around 65, 66 this season. The guy is throwing 73. So actually around where J.J. McCarthy was. He has surpassed 40 touchdowns. 40 touchdowns total for the season. He's been lights out. And fun fact for you guys, if you take away Kyle McCord, every first-time starter under Ryan Day, going back to J.T. Barrett when he was the OC, their first season they averaged 40 plus. They always averaged 40 touchdowns. If you're first time you're starting, if you're not Kyle McCord.
Wow.
Yeah, it looks like Will Howard has 33 touchdowns this year, 10 interceptions. It says longest pass, 75 yards.
Mm-hmm.
72.6 completion percentage. Yeah, that's not bad. Mac, what do you think?
I mean, it's Will Howard. I know we just said like Riley Leonard's got the 16 rushing touchdowns, so that's a part of his game, and that's awesome. But if you take the total number of touchdowns accounted for, Will Howard's got like 40. Yeah, Will Howard's got 40 touchdowns, and Riley Leonard, what is that? 39, 36 or 35, something like that. So I think it's Will Howard. Will Howard's the better quarterback. I mean, also he's got a better percentage. He's got more yards. Yeah, I mean, Will Howard's the better quarterback.
And you watch him play, man. Some of the passes he's completing are just
yeah.
Well, okay, and then you have to ask, like, how good would Will Howard be with Notre Dame's receivers, and how good would Riley Leonard be with Ohio State's receivers? Like, because I think that Jeremiah Smith makes an impact for sure.
Riley Leonard can't layer throws like Will Howard
can. Yeah,
those passes against Oregon in the Rose Bowl, like you can throw it up, but he threw it up right where Jeremiah Smith, like on point where only he can get it. That's a tough thing to do.
That's true. Yeah, that's fair.
And some of those passes against Texas, man, it's clear that Ryan Day and Chip Kelly have Will Howard's confidence at an all-time high. He threw four passes in that game that I would only be comfortable with CJ throwing.
CJ Stroud.
Yeah, there's some.
I talking about that tight window.
Yeah, he made 4 tight window throws, man. When I just sat there and went, "Oh God, Will." But he made them, and I mean, yeah. Listen, if you're completing them.
I don't know if you guys saw this, but there's a report out. Jeremiah Smith gets disability insurance before the title game.
What?
He got some disability insurance before the game.
How?
What do you mean how?
How do you get disability how?
He's not claiming disability.
No.
He got insurance for disability in case he gets hurt in the game.
Oh. I thought he was getting like paid, like disability
No.
from the government or something. I was like,
he's not
dude, that's it. We're definitely needing to restructure benefits like this because that's insane. The guy is a god among men and he's getting disability. Are you kidding me?
All right. So I'm gonna have to go.
Oh.
Before
All
the
right.
season.
Oh, go ahead.
Wait, what?
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. So before the season, Ohio State is being made fun of for getting Will Howard. He was going to be this terrible quarterback. Oh, look what he did at Kansas State. And to me, he's proved all the haters wrong. He's exceeded expectations. Again, like his QBR, his completion rate, just off the charts. Completely exceeded expectations, especially in the playoffs. I mean, my gosh, when I did the stats after the Oregon game, and he was at like a 98.7 QBR and like an 85%, like somewhere between that completion rate. I was just like, I don't know what these people saw who just completely said he wasn't going to do anything. He wasn't going to be relevant. Just bringing up his Kansas State days. So, Riley Leonard, he's a good quarterback. He's really dangerous. I mean, he doesn't have 15 rushing touchdowns for nothing. Clearly, the defense is going to have to put a spy on him. And, I really like how they played against Dylan Gabriel the second time around, because that first time around, Dylan Gabriel had his way and actually rushed for what was like 25, 30-yard rushing TD. So, and Will Howard's confidence level just at an all-time high. I mean, you think this dude just, won like 5 national championships in a row. He has that type of confidence right now. So going with Will Howard.
Because he's got better receivers.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
He's got a better haircut, better smile.
Man, he's got a better credit
score.
Who was Notre Dame's quarterback last year? What was that guy's name?
Sam Hartford.
Sam Hartford.
Hartman.
Sam Hartman.
Sam Hartman.
Hartman.
Dude. Oh my gosh. Best haircut in college football.
Oh.
Holy crap.
He was like the handsome Squidward in college football.
Seriously, though, my wife started watching football a little bit last year because of it. I'm kidding.
Rob, did you say you had to get going?
No, I
okay,
didn't say that. No.
I'm going to kind of like merge things together here. What do you guys think as far as what does let's look at it this way. So now that we understand coaches, we understand the QBs. What does Ohio State have to do to win this game, and what does Notre Dame have to do to win this game?
Well, I think Ohio State's probably got to score more points.
Well, and I was going to say that was going to be my
Dame
analysis.
wants to win, though. Hold up. If Notre Dame wants to win, though, I think probably they should score more points.
I can't stand you, Mac. Well,
that is the type
I
of
did
analysis people watch us for, man.
I did see that Ryan Day did an interview and he said that it all comes down to execution, and they just have to execute better than Notre Dame and they'll win the game.
Did you see Jim Knowles break down that goal line stand?
Oh, I did, but I forgot what he said.
Yeah,
What did he
I
say?
saw that. That was
Like,
that's really funny.
Our big guys, boom, they're big guys over there, big guys. It's just that sound like caveman talk. But I want everyone else to go, because like all the conversation, I have a litany of things to go through.
Oh,
all right.
So I'm gonna be Justin here.
All right. Let me. How about Rob? Let me put it to you this way: since the spread, not the spread, yeah, it's 8 points in Ohio State's favor. So Ohio State is favored. What do you think Notre Dame has to do to beat Ohio State, other than score more points?
Man,
do you not want me on the show anymore?
You know, since Ohio State, ever since Ohio State's been playing like this, it's hard to point out any weaknesses. I would say just bracket Jeremiah Smith, and I mean because Texas they did shut down Jeremiah Smith. They clearly have to win the line of scrimmage. I think that's going to be a big thing. The defensive line is going to have to get a good push in order to get Will Howard's face, so he doesn't have all that time in the world to make all his reads and make the right throws. Because I will say that I have seen times when Will Howard is rattled, has pressure in his face, and doesn't look too good. But in terms of Notre Dame's offense against Ohio State's defense, let me give you a stat for Ohio State's rush defense the last 2 games, Oregon and Texas. And so 57 carries for 53 yards. I'm going to say that again. 57 carries for 53 yards. That's all these 2 teams got against Ohio State.
Wow.
So, they're really got to win the line of scrimmage again there, because if Ohio State is able to not make Jadarian Price a factor in this game, are you really going to trust Riley Leonard to put this game on his back and win it? No, probably not.
What is it that Michigan did then? How did Michigan stop Ohio State? Because I mean, everybody's been saying, why didn't Texas do what Michigan did? Why didn't Oregon do what Michigan did? The plan was there. What did Michigan do?
They can't. That defense is Michigan's own. No one else runs that in the nation. It's very intricate. It's very hard. It's something that you have to run for a very long time before the season.
And they have the coach that did it.
Yeah, even before the season started, Makari Page came out and said that even this was different from what they ran the year before, and it took them practically all season to get used to it, and for Wink Martindale to do so. But you guys can't run it, and you're not going to learn that defense that quickly and run it that efficiently. And I mean, I believe for anything in life, when people get back, their backs are against the wall, they will always revert to what they do. Notre Dame is a man-to-man team.
All right.
Yeah.
Ben, what do you think? How does Notre Dame win this game?
Well, it's a mixture of both of those things. I mean, for Notre Dame, they are like an okay passing team. Riley Leonard's done what he can, but they're a rushing team. Jordan Love is apparently going to be fairly healthy in this game now coming up. So, but if they can't get that running attack going between him and Riley Leonard, it's going to be a long day. But defensively for Notre Dame, if they want to do anything, exactly, they got to take away Jeremiah Smith. But they can't be doing like 3 guys in zone against Jeremiah Smith. I mean, because that just opens the field for everyone else. And like Garrison said, they do a lot more man coverage, and they will get torched. Not every time, obviously, but a lot more than they would. So I think what Notre Dame just needs to do is not get burnt. They're going to have to do a bend, don't break type of defense. And then doesn't Notre Dame have one of the best special teams, as in the most field goal blocked this season?
Their special team as a whole is really good.
Yeah, so they need to put Ohio State into some special team situations where maybe they get a lucky bounce here, get a block. Maybe they can return it for points or get a short field like they did with Georgia, or turnovers like defensively and stuff. And they have short fields. That's kind of Notre Dame's strategy. That's what Notre Dame's done. They just find ways to do it and win. But can they do it? For Ohio State, just be you. I mean, that's, to be honest, just be you. I mean, that's all I can say, because at this moment in time, like you say, Notre Dame is the underdog. Ohio State doesn't need to change much. They're going to have some wrinkles, I think, obviously. But, yeah, I wouldn't even change much if I was Ohio State. Just roll with what's working.
Mac, what do you think?
Yeah, so I think that Texas's problem was that they put 3 guys on Jeremiah Smith, and Ohio State just happens to have, I don't know, like a billion other weapons that are just as capable as Jeremiah Smith. I mean, Jeremiah Smith is really, really good, and probably should be in Heisman conversations in the next year or two, but like, you can't put 3 guys on him, because you're just going to leave Emeka Egbuka open. You're going to leave Carnell Tate open. Travion Henderson's good as a receiving running back and all that too. Quinshon Judkins, obviously really good. Ben, I agree with what you're saying, that they need to do a bend, don't break, and kind of do like a Michigan from 2021, 2, and 3, and allow Ohio State to get into the red zone, because then it's a shorter field. And, then Ohio State, if it's a shorter field, it's a little bit more difficult to get into the end zone, especially for a pass-happy offense. The thing is that Notre Dame does not have the run defense that Michigan had to allow Ohio State to get into the red zone, because once Ohio State was in the red zone against Michigan, you're not running the ball, apparently. Like, believe me, I'm just as shocked about it as you guys are. So I'm not trying to, do a burn there or anything, but like, you're just not going to run the ball against Michigan in the red zone, apparently. Notre Dame doesn't have the defensive front to do that. So if it's a short field, they've got Quinshon Judkins that's just going to bulldoze people on his way to the end zone. So for me, I don't know that it's a bend, don't break. I actually think that they have a very narrow path to winning this game. And I think that it's just, they have to play extremely fundamentally sound football, especially on defense, just in general. And then the offense has to be clicking on all cylinders. They have to use Riley Leonard's feet. They have to allow him the chance to pass, and he's got to be allowed the chance to pass deep too. He's got to be seen as like, oh, are they going to throw it over the top? They have to keep Ohio State's defense guessing. If they get the least bit predictable or don't spread out the attack, then Ohio State's just going to settle in, and it's going to be their game all day long. So, yeah, I guess that's how I think Notre Dame can win, is if they keep Ohio State on their toes, offensively speaking, and then just play extraordinarily sound fundamental football on defense.
So, like what Ryan Day said, just out-execute the other team.
Yep.
Got it.
Yeah. That sounds about right.
So, can I address Wolverine Page's comment?
Yeah, go ahead.
So, Wolverine Page, you said you're going to Notre Dame, can't root for Ohio State because they're Don't say you're for the Big Ten, though. Don't go to SEC fans and say Big Ten is back, we're better. You can't do that. You're not.
Okay, but do you
Ohio
think
State.
any Alabama fan is going to look at like, if Auburn's in the national championship, do you think an Alabama fan's going to root for him? No,
probably not.
No.
But at the end of the day, they're going to claim that and say the SEC is far more.
Yeah, that's going to be
superior.
their consolation prize if Auburn ever wins the national championship.
That's all I'm saying, man.
That's the consolation prize for like Michigan fans. If Ohio State wins the national championship, we can say, yeah, well, at least that means the Big Ten is better than the SEC. Doesn't mean we wanted it to happen. It just means it happened, and these are the facts.
All right, fair enough.
Well, I guess the only difference for that would be this year if Ohio State does win it. Michigan can be like, hey, we beat the national champions. And then Oregon can also say, hey, we beat the national champions too. At least once.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. Yeah.
At least once.
But then you Notre
Yeah.
Michigan fans have to listen to Notre Dame fans talk about winning the national championship.
That is true.
They've been through a lot, though. I kind of want to know.
Well, here's the thing: you act like Ohio State has been through a lot. I mean, my God.
Yeah. 4
Yeah.
years in a row losing
This-
to Michigan. I get it, man.
Man, a 10-year drought for a national title. Man.
Oof. Yeah.
I tell you, I can appreciate the Big Ten SEC rivalry and rooting for Ohio State because it's Big Ten and we want SEC to be buried deep. I get that, and yeah, you might sway me on that one, so I might have to root for Ohio State. My only problem there is that every time I've actually legitimately rooted for Ohio State, they've lost.
Then don't.
Then don't, dude. Stay with anti-Ohio State. Go on.
Garrison,
Okay.
you have some notes.
But
Yes. Okay.
all right.
So
Hang on. I got to go take a nap.
What does Notre Dame have to do to beat Ohio State, Garrison?
Or
Or go with your notes. I'm not sure what angle you were taking with your notes.
10 gallons of holy water. Send up 50 Hail Marys. What's that thing they like? I only been to Mass a few times. I was playing at St. Francis. What do? They bring that thing where they're swaying with the smoke. Bring about 50 priests doing that.
Oh yeah, the decant. No,
and then
incense. There it is. Yeah.
incense, and then maybe bring the Ark of the Covenant. Listen,
There's a rumor that's at the Vatican. So
Oh, so they have it.
maybe they have it.
That's it, guys. This game's over.
Listen, I think Notre Dame is a really good team. I do. I think they're a really good team. I think they're running into the worst team, and it's because of non-negotiables. Ohio State, yes, Indiana's ranked number 1 stat-wise. Ohio State's the best defensive rush team in the country, bar none. And it's at every single level, from defensive line to linebacker to secondary. A lot of people forget Ohio State, like all the talk about Denzel Burke and Davidson Ignosin. Those are 2 of the best tackling corners in college football. Caleb Downs is Caleb Downs. And we have, I think, a 3-game streak right now of Ransom taking out the opposing team's running back. That's that. But I'm sorry, that's one non-negotiable, is just the run game. And I also wonder if Ohio State presses the receivers of Notre Dame, who have not been great in man coverage because they don't get a lot of separation and release, what does that do to your offense? I've heard a lot of Notre Dame fans in spaces say put Ohio State in a phone booth. Point to me the team that put Ohio State in a phone booth and it worked. And they say, well,
what does that mean? Put him in a phone booth?
As an offense, you run the ball against Ohio State's defense and use that as the game plan offensively to beat them. Okay. Your defense had a really good game, and Ohio State and Chip Kelly was a stubborn idiot for most of the game.
And Michigan broke off a couple of good runs.
A couple of good runs doesn't take away what we saw from the whole game, which is your offense. Yeah. I'm not going to do this. You know, my brother-in-law, you know, while we're taking a bunch of tequila touchdown shots at my sister's house and brother-in-law's house, he said, Garrison, I'm going to listen to you all weekend. I don't want that non-biased, see them both ways BS. I want you to come out here and talk your ish. I am going to. With reason. But also because as much as I respect this program, I treat Notre Dame like I treat the Yankees. I hate you for no reason at all.
Yeah.
On the other side, Notre Dame's rush defense is ranked 49th in the country. Hot knife through butter. Ohio State during the playoffs has run the gap run scheme 69% of the time. What do I have here? Notre Dame is 75th in the country at giving up 5.5 against the gap scheme and giving up 3.4 yards after contact. What does that mean? Travion Henderson up the middle. off the guard. Like I look at things like that, and then also Will Howard being number 2 in the country against man-to-man coverage. And yes, is Notre Dame really good at man-to-man coverage? Yeah. So what did I do? I watched the only other game this season in full. I did this 2 days ago that I saw them go against another team that has athletes at wide receiver, has a play caller and a pretty good quarterback, and that was USC. And that was a game that Maeva started. They put up almost 500 yards of them. Maeva had well over 300 yards. They ripped right through them because you can't just play man-to-man against elite athletes, and Ohio State has the best wide receiver unit in the country. Some more things. Now, to Notre Dame's credit, they are number 6 in third quarter scoring on offense, and they are number 2 on defense. Yeah, it just so happens that Ohio State's the number 1 team in the third quarter, giving up less than a point every third quarter this season, or this game. Oh, yeah, this season. Other things to point out, too, a lot of Notre Dame fans said they think they have to force turnovers. Yes, I think it's cliche, but Notre Dame has a first turnover. They're a fourth turnover margin. At the end of the day, though, just because you turn Ohio State over does not mean you're going to win. Penn State did. Got up 10-0 too.
They got to get points out of those too. But that's another thing too, is that Notre Dame actually has to score. And for as good as their special teams has been, their kicking game is awful this year.
And here's the thing, let's look at that Texas game. And a lot of people are getting on Sarkisian for that pitch call. Friends, family, everyone. Have we not seen throughout the season that running the ball up the middle on Ohio State is not guaranteed?
Especially in the red zone, man.
Mind you, they tried to play before and it didn't work. Penn State has one of the best offensive lines in the country. And one of the best and 2 of the best running backs in the country. They tried it 3 times in a row. Didn't work. I understand why people were upset at that call, and initially I was too, but I thought about it. I said, well, why would you run the ball up the middle against Ohio State? I guess this is my most damning stat of all. During the season, Ohio State was 3rd in points per play. Notre Dame was 4th. Ohio State was at .571. In the playoffs, they have risen that to .617. Now, Notre Dame was 4th at .569. That has dropped down to .374. I think everyone is pointing to their game against Penn State. Penn State has one of the worst wide receiver units in the country. Georgia's right behind them, leading the country in drop passes. You're about to see a much different wide receiver unit. I have Ohio State 33-14. 33-13. I think we're going to blow the doors off.
Is there any chance you could put together a slide presentation for us next time? That was a lot of numbers.
Well, you know what? Maybe next time I should. I didn't put this out. Notre Dame versus the run, 42.5 success rate. That's 90th in the country.
Ooh, that's terrible.
I don't like. When I look at things like this, I try to simplify it all in my head. How is Notre Dame supposed to win this game? Like I said, a lot of Notre Dame fans point out turnovers. On a per play basis, turnovers have, and it's not to take away the play from the players, but it's a luck factor. When you compare it, tell me players are in the game, it's a luck factor. If that's what you're telling me, you got, dude. Again, 100 priests, gallons of holy water.
They don't need it. They don't need it. They have a 12th man on the field. It's called Touchdown Jesus.
No, bring the shroud for Jesus too. Bring it all.
So if I'm following all your notes there, Garrison, it sounds like this game shouldn't be much different from the Texas game. No. And if it sounds like Notre Dame won't have the endurance to last through the entire game, and then that last 3 minutes, they're going to start making dumb decisions because they're tired.
I just think it's tough, and for a lot of people, the narrative was if you get Ohio State to the fourth quarter, and you have a lead or it's tied, you probably got them. Well, Ohio State has won games in multiple ways this season, and that was the way that we hadn't seen them do it this year. They just did it against Texas, who, for all intents and purposes, has a better offense than Notre Dame, and they have a better defense than Notre Dame. I'm not going to call your defense elite when you are 49th in stopping the run.
So, like Keegan's saying here, if Notre Dame actually can hold Ohio State to 10 points, that's about the only shot they have at winning this game.
Keegan,
get a 17
how they do that. You're asking.
Well, yeah.
You're asking for a
Can you pull up Keegan's pride before the fall comment? I mean, like Keegan.
I knew you were gonna do that.
How much more do you want Ohio State to fall, man? We lost to Michigan at home for the fourth straight season.
3 times at home. I've never seen them
that big brawl happened. Jack Sawyer screaming out in agony. The whole freak Columbus after Ryan Day. How much more do you want? Just say it. You hate Ohio State. You're a never Ohio Stater. That's fine, man. We get it. We get it, okay?
How did that phrase work into football?
Hey, mind you, that is the quote coming from a guy who is a national championship as a DC at Ohio State and has a winning record against Michigan.
D'Antonio.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, man, like how much more?
Go off.
How much more do you want us to fall? That was fucking embarrassing. I never swore in that show before. That was embarrassing, man. Like I didn't talk to anybody after that game. It was embarrassing, dude.
But did
really
you go 7-5? Did you go 3-9? Did you go 8-4? Did you lose to Indiana? Did you lose to Maryland? Did you lose to Rutgers? Because we've done that. We've done all of that, within the last 15 years.
Actually, we got blown out by Purdue back in 2018. No business happening. Got blown out by Iowa 2017. No business of that happening. So they've had theirs, and then getting blanked in the playoffs in 2016 against Clemson.
Listen, man. I'll tell you what, Mac. What was even more aggravating about like losing to you guys like that? I mean, Ryan Day at that point had never lost to a unranked team.
Yeah,
and I mean and then like just over the last 10 years, if you go back to Urban's era, I mean, I've always said this. I mean, if you're gonna beat Ohio State and you're not ranked, there's a couple things. There's 2 things you need: a night game, and like awesome ill children. And that's what Iowa and Purdue had. And so like losing to you guys, that was embarrassing. Because you guys didn't have any of that.
So yeah.
Here's and Keegan, no beef, man. All I'm saying is I've humbly accepted all these Ohio State victories. I've gone into these games, no expectations, just hoping for the best. But after the Michigan game, I was expecting the worst. So I humbly accept all those wins that Ohio State has had in the national championship. And if we're gonna be really honest, when Texas tied it in the third, I went in my bedroom, I stopped watching, and I put on a movie. I'm like, well, so Ohio State has
ashamed of you. I am ashamed of you.
Yeah, he gave up early.
But wait. Then I went back out in time. They went ahead 21-14, and then that strip sack by Sawyer.
That play
was
simultaneously the dumbest play and the greatest play I've ever seen in my life.
oh, by the way,
because Ryan Day was.
By the way,
the direction.
We were talking about what Jim Knowles said about how he explained that last drive. He said, I called that play on 3rd down. It had success. So I called it again.
Might as well.
Why not?
So Wolverine Gage says if Ohio State gets ahead early, that's when it could get ugly because Notre Dame will have to play to catch up. That sounds like that's the general consensus here. Yeah.
Here's another fun stat for you guys. I probably should have had a slideshow. Mac, you're right, buddy. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Next year we will do. Actually, we'll probably do it for Justin. Honestly, we'll have Justin's slideshow when he starts talking, so we can follow him. But
yeah.
So when Notre Dame's going to get behind the chains at some point in the game, maybe multiple times in this game. So during the season, they gave up a sack rate of 5.5. In the playoffs, that has risen to 9.47 in the last 3 games. Oof. In that same breath, Ohio State was 11.06 during the season. That was second in the nation. They're now up to 12.5 on the sack rate. In the first, between Tennessee, I'm happy I know this on top of my head. Between Tennessee, Oregon, and Texas, there has been 111 dropbacks. Ohio State has put pressure on the quarterback 49.5% of the time. What do you do? Like, I'm telling you, like, and that's why I've had Notre Dame fans in spaces say no, like they say I think we're going to win, and you know, was I wrong for this when I said it to Bryce? Maybe I was, but I've been posting the same question to because I think it still holds true, even so. I don't think these Notre Dame fans believe they're going to win. I think they hope they win. But if I go into the depths of their hearts, like the same way I believe I went to the depths of the hearts of Mac and Cliff during the week of the game, I don't believe they thought they were going to win. And I feel the same way for this Notre Dame team.
Oh, absolutely not. I thought we were going to be destroyed in that game.
Dude, thankfully, I'm not a player.
Speak for yourself, though. I firmly believed we were going to win that game.
No, you did.
Yeah, I did. I woke up and I told her, I told my wife, I said, we're going to win today. Just watch. And she said, what? I don't care. Go away.
Yeah. My dad,
shut up.
My dad said, Garrison, sometimes he says not for serious things in life, but sometimes you just gotta lie to keep the marriage happy. I think that's what you did by telling your wife you thought Michigan was gonna win.
Man, she doesn't care.
Those are sweet nothings.
That wasn't even sweet to her. She's like, stop talking to me about football. I don't care. Go away.
Yeah.
That's Sam's reaction too. He's like, I don't care. The season is over. Thank God. Go back to doing something else.
Yeah.
No, I gotta tell you guys something funny. So, like, there was a time when, Bryce and I call high school games, and Bryce told his wife that he believed that South Christian was going to lose that week, and then South Christian started beating the crap out of the team, and Bryce shows me a text during the radio call of his wife saying, you told me this game was going to be over, that the season was going to be over. I'm never listening to you again.
All right, real quick. Moose says, I think okay. If Freeman and Notre Dame are smart, really watch our D in the Michigan game. We gave them the blueprint to shut down Ohio State, held them to 170 yards passing, and their only touchdown was an OPI. Yeah, and that's kind of what we've been saying. Rob, you said you've got to get moving, and you wanted to say something about that game.
Yeah. So first off, appreciate that comment, Keegan. I won for you, Battle Cry, but not for Garrison. Yeah, here's the thing though. I truly understand the position Ohio State is in. I've been looking at the experience on this depth chart compared to Notre Dame's. Pretty much Ohio State loses pretty much their whole defense besides Caleb Downs and maybe Henderson's leaving, Juggins were like leaving, Howard's gone, Ibuka, good amount, maybe some offensive linemen, but if Ohio State doesn't get done this year, then when? I mean, Notre Dame's going to be better. Notre Dame will have a better team next season. So will Oregon, and so will Texas with Arch Manning. So I really wanted to be Ohio State's year because, I understand that, there's a good chance they'll win the Natty, but next season I'm going to be honest, and Garrison, you may not agree with me on this, but I think they take a little step back. They'll be a playoff team, but they more than likely won't be making a natty run like this. This is just,
I don't know what everyone else looks like next year. So that's the only reason I don't know. And if Julian Sain is the second coming of CJ Stroud, oh baby.
Between Julian Sain and Bryce Underwood,
all I'm saying is,
so what you're saying is another two straight losses to Michigan. Got it. All right, cool.
after everything that happened, I'm humbled to be here. Like beating Tennessee, Oregon, Texas, the toughest path to get to the national championship. I'm humbled to be here. I'm really pulling for these seniors at Ohio State. It's really cool. When they run out the tunnel, the first thing they do is they go to the end zone. They all pray together. I'm that because I'm a Christian. That means a lot. You could tell that these players love Ryan Day. They love each other. I hope they get it done for those reasons. And trust me, I'm not gonna brag to anybody. I'm not gonna say anything. I'm gonna humbly accept that national championship if they win. So, all right, Garrett, that's fine, man.
That's why I love Rob. That's why I love him.
I mean, if you win the Natty, you're alled to go, shout it from the rooftops. That's fine.
We need people like Rob who are humble and winning. We really do need people like him with this fan base.
Because I'm be honest, I did after that Michigan loss, and you could ask my wife this. I was sick. I went in my bedroom. I shut the door and I flipped on a movie and I didn't talk to anybody for the rest of the day. I'm not lying. So yeah, I am humbled to for Ohio State to have this opportunity.
You know what's really funny though? So right after the game ended, the Michigan Ohio State game ended, like as soon as Will Howard threw the incomplete pass, I'm not gonna lie, I busted out laughing. Like I just kind of put my hands up and went just started laughing maniacally. Like I had just, had like some sort of weird trip or something like that and saw something that I just can't explain because that's kind of exactly what happened. But after that, I was like, man, I actually feel really bad for Rob and Garrison because they were all, hellfire and brimstones coming down on Michigan. And Garrison was talking a ton of crap on Twitter that week. And I was just like, I hope they're okay. I actually texted Dad and was like, do you think I should give them space? Should I reach out and be like, hey, prayers and blessings, guys? Are you good?
Dude, no, I after the game, because remember, my family celebrated Thanksgiving that day of the game. I immediately went downstairs to my parents' basement by myself, sat there watching the post game on that little ass TV. My girlfriend came downstairs, said Garrison. My mom said, sweetheart, let him be. And then 30 minutes later, I came upstairs, sat down on a nice table that had black and scarlet on it. Did some decorations for the game on Thanksgiving for us, and you could clearly see my dad and I pissed off. And then 5 minutes into the dinner, my dad just goes, "Can't believe we lost that game." Yes. It was an awful day.
Can't we just all admit that all of us have had some bad losses this year? I mean, not so much on our end, but Ohio State having to watch Will Howard slide as time expires. The Michigan game, Michigan losing to multiple teams they probably shouldn't have lost to.
Right.
I had to watch my team get absolutely just murdered in the Rose Bowl. So,
I want to ask you, as an Oregon fan, how does it feel knowing that in 2 of the 3 seasons, probably your 2 best teams ever, but 2 of the 3 times when you guys have had a chance to win a national championship, 2 of those times that came through Ohio State, they stumped a mud hole through you.
That's why I said it was the pain of that again. It was stop getting in our way.
We love you. I love you guys. I want you to know I'm very empathetic to you guys.
I am going to get out of here though. I've got 20 minutes till I got to get on the Oregon show. But I am pulling the Big Ten card because again, I just Al Golden's going to have something. But if Notre Dame's defense can't hold Ohio State back, there's no shot because was mentioned earlier, it's hey, if Ohio State goes up 14 points, kind of against Oregon, it doesn't matter. They're not going to. Notre Dame's not going to catch up. I don't think they just don't have the offense to do.
I think if they go down by 10, don't score and punt the ball back, it's a wrap.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they just don't have the offense to do it. So if Notre Dame's defense just starts getting torched or run through, so I'm gonna go Ohio State. I'm gonna say something I'll go 30-20. like kind of like some late time touchdown for Notre Dame to kind of make it a little closer, kind of thing. Notre Dame finds a way to win, so I have to compliment Notre Dame and Marcus Freeman, though. I don't want the Notre Dame fans continuing to say that I just hate Notre Dame. Notre Dame just finds a way to win. That's what good teams do. But
I mean, they must be pretty good. They got this far.
Yeah, exactly. But this is probably where it's just going to come to an end.
I have every intention on having proper 12 whiskey and Guinness by my side and just playing this.
I had my
that's all I plan on doing.
I never even got that much cigarillo because of the Rose Bowl. I just put it away.
Yeah.
After 8 minutes in, I was like, well, never mind. That's not going to happen today. So don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
All right,
well,
guys.
Ben, thank you very much for being with us. Thanks for being with us all season. Thanks for being with us for the show. If you want to give your socials real quick before you head out.
Yeah. Again, you can find me on the Voice of College Football, the Oregon Show, literally in about 25 minutes. And or Exploring with Ben and Sam right there on YouTube. And then all my other links are through there also. So definitely check it out.
Thank you very much, Ben. Have a good show tonight.
Appreciate you, man.
See ya.
Have fun, everyone.
See ya.
All right, guys. Actually, I think we'll probably wrap it up here anyway. Moose says Notre Dame shocks the world 27-24.
No, Moose said that? No.
Moose.
What's going on?
Moose.
Keegan says cut commercial. We have no sponsors. We had sponsors. I forgot about our sponsors. Oh, well, they'll be fine.
That's on Mac.
Yep.
What?
Mac, you're our marketing guy. You should have done that.
Yeah, but you're supposed to put in the script, read sponsors.
I told you I don't have a script tonight.
So it's your fault.
Moose says it's either going to be a close Notre Dame win or an OSU blowout. I think that's our consensus too. Notre Dame's going to have to keep it close.
Back-to-back national championships like after each other.
I don't know.
Maybe in the 80s. In the 80s,
Go
if
Big
there's
Ten.
a
That's all I'm
consensus
gonna say.
championship, it could have been then.
Mm.
Oh no, wait, no, Michigan didn't have one in the 80s. I don't know.
I gotta look that up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll get going here.
All right.
Yeah, everyone. Again, thank you guys for having me on this show. First off, it's been an awesome season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, thank you for this. This is honestly one of the coolest things ever. Everybody.
You're welcome.
I'm
I'm glad you like it.
Mac, I'm not sure if you heard about when I saw this in the mail. I opened it. I thought it was a big block of saltwater taffy out of north of the state. So Mackinac. So
Yeah.
but you can find me my co-host Bryce on the Scarlet and Blue show. He's the Michigan half of the show. Actually, a show just dropped tonight, so go check that out with Ryan Preble of Notre Dame on Week 0 podcast. And you can also find me on Ohio State, the Voice of College Football on Ohio State Primetime with Ryan Stanos on Mondays and Thursdays of the Call-In Show. Free for any fan base to pop in there, even you guys in Ann Arbor. So
We'll come on and troll your show.
Watch our community college fans. Go Wolfpack.
Oh gosh. And again, as always, how firm thy friendship, OHIO. Rob.
Thank you, Garrison, for being on the show. I really appreciate it. Thanks for being with us all season too.
Guys.
Yeah, appreciate you, man.
See ya.
All right, man.
All right,
Garrison.
guys, press leave. Yeah, I think I do.
What was that?
Man,
He said, "Do I have to press to leave?"
I've never gotten upset on this show before, but it's just like, man, like that was a really tough loss. Like, seriously, it was. It's just like, so all I gotta say is, you don't know true glory and humility until you experience some type of suffering. That's always been my motto. And I truly feel, we're seeing, well, I can't speak for all other Ohio State fans, but I'm humbled. I felt humility. I mean, I truly didn't think Michigan was going to beat Ohio State, but it happened. So it's just like, if Ohio State wins the national championship, I'm not gonna go online and gloat and rub it in everybody. You know, I'll make a video giving saying my humble opinion about the win, and that's it. I can't speak for Peter. I can't speak for Peter. He's more of the up here type of fan. But yeah,
well, I mean,
all
you
I
got to
gotta say
celebrate
is
too. I
like,
mean, you can certainly get on there and celebrate and champion your team kind of thing.
oh, I'll do that, but I'm not gonna be like in your
Oh,
face,
yeah.
Michigan or Notre Dame or anything like that. Like, no, that's not gonna happen. But all I gotta say is like, I these seniors have suffered a lot over the last 4 years. I mean that Georgia loss, 4 straight losses to Michigan, not getting the two of their goals completed.
Mhm.
It just seems like this team's really
That
on a
Missouri
mission.
loss in the
They're
Cotton Bowl
playing
last year, that was bizarre.
yeah, and that Missouri lost in the Cotton Bowl. They're playing for each other. They're praying with each other. That's a big thing. Their faith seems to be a lot, and they really love their coach. So it's that last that Texas Ohio State game. I saw the two teams had each different mottos, and Ohio State's was leave no doubt. Now I don't. I hope it's a close game, which I think will be a close game, but I think Ryan Day is going to send that message home, with to his team. We have to leave no doubt. We got to show them that we were indeed the best team this season, and and we can and we deserve to be here. I can sense the loss.
What?
Yeah, I mean that's fine. I get it. It's the Ohio State Michigan digs. It's the biggest rivalry in all of college football, and apparently that it still means a lot to me because I got married. So congratulations, you got under my skin.
Actually, Rob, I wanted to ask this question earlier, but I saw, and now I forgot who wrote the article, but there's an article on USA Today Sports talking about Ryan Day, that he's had so much pressure to beat Michigan and hasn't beat Michigan, that it's sort of overshadowing his wins. And he posited this idea that Ryan Day could get Ohio State to the national championship, win the national championship, and then just walk out the door and look for another job and let Ohio State deal with the fallout. What do you think? There's any possibility to that?
Oh, I actually made a video about
did you?
that. Go check it out on Buckeyes Battle Cry. It's called Ryan Day has the chance to do the funniest thing. He has a chance to win the national championship and say peace out to the Ohio State fan base just because of that reason.
Okay, I started to watch that one, but something came up. I didn't get to finish it. I'll go back and finish it.
I got into a conversation with an Ohio State fan today, and I'm as this person's talking, I'm thinking like, we're about to play for national championship, and they're like, yeah, there's always Luke Fickell and Marcus Freeman.
Just like, well, don't discount Marcus Freeman. That'd be interesting.
We're about to play for a national championship, and it's just like, but then they ended with Ryan Day could stay, but I'm just like, it's man, I think that's a possibility. One of the hottest jobs on the market could be is the Dallas Cowboys. Mike McCarthy and Dallas Cowboys just went separate ways. So in my video, I said, if I'm Jerry Jones, that Tuesday, I'm going to the Woody with a blank check, saying how much. That's all I'm saying. Because if you look at it, there's so much pressure on this game. If you look at the photo of Ryan Day accepting the Ohio State job, and now he looks like he's a 2-term president. Like, you ever see the before and after photos? President Obama or
any of them, really,
someone else, getting in there, then they're like just completely two different looking people. Like,
this is true.
It's Ryan Day available for DC.
Is it defensive coordinator somewhere?
But
I don't know.
At Michigan.
Defensive coordinator.
Link Martindale's been taking a whole bunch of interviews.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what comes of that, given what he accomplished this year.
Here's the thing with that. It does suck that Michigan has gone through so many defensive coordinators, but in actuality, how many teams would have loved to have the defensive coordinators that Michigan has had throughout the years lately? Like, they're all in the NFL now. I mean, one's a head coach for the Seattle Seahawks. The other had an impressive season. The Chargers were ranked number 1 in terms of points given up for the season on defense. And now one may head back to the NFL unless what's that one girl's name?
Oh,
who had her husband fork out all the money?
Yeah, well, they call her the Queen now.
the Queen.
Yeah,
something.
the Queen.
Yeah, I can't remember her name.
Yeah, if the
Goliath?
Queen can be like, hey, you know what?
Yeah,
I think it's Jocelyn or something.
Queen Jocelyn.
Okay.
If Queen Jocelyn can go to her husband again, and be like, hey, like, I don't want to see the rich. I don't want to see the Brady Hope days again. We need this person to
Queen
stay.
Jolene Jocelyn gets what she wants.
Yeah.
Whatever her name is, Queen,
Yeah.
Queen, whatever. So we cheat. No, we didn't cheat. Nobody. There's no such thing as you know what? Never mind.
It's bedtime, guys.
I just wanted to touch on Wolverine Gage's comment here. This is so Mac and I on our video on Monday we talked about why there's a rivalry between Michigan and Notre Dame, and I had talked about part of it just being the fact that they're old teams, but apparently, and I didn't realize this, but Michigan actually taught Notre Dame football.
Yeah, that's kind of neat.
Which is kind of cool. I guess when football came from the East Coast to the Midwest, it was like Michigan and Chicago were two of the first teams out here, and then Notre Dame sprang up when Michigan basically taught Notre Dame how to play football. There's also I've also read too that back in the day, and this would be the 30s and the 40s, that when teams were starting to build stadiums, they would actually invite Michigan to their games to inaugurate the stadium because Michigan was the power back in that time frame. But
that's cool.
But yeah, the old days of football anyway.
Yeah.
You know what? Like so I saw Keegan put so we cheat Azure. You know what, man? You guys had one of the best stats in all of college football last season, probably ever put together. You know, there's other couple coaching staffs that can line up that come second or third, but Michigan won it fair and square, man. That's all I'm gonna say.
Thank you.
And
I feel so validated. Oh my gosh.
Well, Rob, the game is in 4 days and 21 hours. I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope it.
Yeah.
I hope you get the win. I do. It's always nice.
I hope so too, man. Because again, a good amount of the defense is leaving. They played together for like 4 years, and just like it's gonna be a while till they're back at this spot again.
I think we're gonna.
Notre Dame's not going anywhere. Texas and Oregon isn't. So
I think we're gonna wrap it up there. Rob, why don't you give your socials again and let everybody know where they can find you?
You can find my co-host Peter and I on Buckeyes Battle Cry, and I'll give my TikTok, but it may be out of commission coming up on the 19th. You never know. Depending on what happens in the Supreme Court and Congress. But all right, but it's CFB Fanatic 13.
Right. Thank you very much again also for being with us all season. You and Peter have been great. And looking forward to seeing what you guys got going. I know your channel is starting to get some traction, so that's awesome.
Yeah, 340.
Nice.
340.
Awesome, dude.
All right, have a good evening. Enjoy the game.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, man.
Yep, thanks.
See you guys. All right. 4 hours, 4 days, 21 hours, and 10 minutes.
Indeed.
I'll move over there. I'll move that up there. Mac. Good show there. Moose.
Very good show.
Mar
that was
says
fun.
Moose.
We love some moose around here.
Keegan decided to talk about the Astrox.
Oh man, not the Astrox.
Not the Astrox again. I'm sure he means the Astros. I get it.
Love Keegan. Love you, Keegan. Love you, Moose.
Keegan's awesome.
Thanks for hanging out, you guys. Really appreciate it.
All right. So, Mac, did you say? Oh, you want Notre Dame to win, don't you? You already said that in our other video.
I don't care.
You don't care.
I don't care. I will be so happy for Garrison and Rob and Peter if Ohio State gets the win.
Yeah.
Because and if Michigan had lost to Ohio State this year, would I feel this way? I don't know. It definitely helps that if Ohio State wins on Monday, that us Michigan fans get to say 13-10. But like, I just, we won it last year. Like we're back, dude. It's like we had our down year. We got Bryce Underwood coming. Like I'm good. If Ohio State wins it, good job, guys. I'm glad you made it. All right. I'm happy for you. If Notre Dame wins it, like, whoa, Notre Dame. We used to be buds back in the day, but then you like kind of stole my chick from me and that made me upset. But like now we're cool. Like, because it's years later and it's great. Like, I'm so happy for everybody. This has been a fun season. I've really enjoyed it. So I don't care.
It turned out to be a fun season.
I mean, I was having fun the whole time anyway.
Were you? All right. I wasn't really having a whole lot of fun until
I was disappointed that Michigan was losing. But what I said before the season, I'm like, we might go 7-5, but
that's true. You did say that, yeah.
But we won the Natty.
Yeah.
So I was good.
Yeah, I was still holding out hope early in the season that all the hype was true, and I should have known better because back in 21, I was like, I'm not falling for the hype this time.
Well, that's the thing. But I think Sharon Moore genuinely thought they were that good. I think he didn't realize that they had that many growing pains.
Yeah.
So maybe that was the case. I don't know, but it ended up being fantastic. I mean, we had one of the worst Michigan teams in 10 years.
Yeah.
And yet they beat Ohio State at Ohio State and then beat Alabama in a bowl game.
Yeah.
Like, holy crap.
Yeah, it's I mean, I hope they do better than 8-5 next year. But as far as this year goes, 8-5 is a happy place to be, given how it turned out. So
yeah,
Keegan says, "All rise." So we are going to take our bow now for the evening. This has been the Big Ten Team Rivalry Show. We're not doing the live streams as consistently as we were before because the season is over. But we will be back. We've got more videos for you to watch. We're definitely, probably. That's a dumb thing to say. We will likely.
We need a script.
We will likely be back after the national championship to do some kind of wrap up. But that's all for tonight. Thank you for watching. Appreciate everybody out there. Thank you for everybody in the chat. Thank you for everybody who has subscribed. Mac, take us out.
This was the Big Ten Team Rivalry Show. Good night.